So we're back at it again. I've been working on the IS300. You can see right there, I've got everything together. The only thing I'm missing is the brake line. So what I got, let's keep from falling here, is that brake line, the end of it, wherever it's at, right here, the end of it just broke off. When I pulled that assembly off, it just pulled that out. So I got a new brake line coming. I got the lower ball joint hooked in. I got the new upper ball joint, or the upper control arm. She's locked in. So now just that brake line, then finish putting the brake accessories on, and then we'll be ready to go. So not far from having the IS300 done, maybe hour. Then I got to pull the fender off. Somewhere hour, half hour, hour and a half, something of that nature. And the IS300 will be on the ground. We'll do an oil change. We got to bleed the brakes and just some miscellaneous stuff. We got an exhaust leak too, so we may have to reseal that exhaust. So, but yeah, that's where we're at. All right, here we go. All right, so I've been tinkering with the IS300 a little bit. I'm not exactly sure what all's bent and where it belongs and how it goes back together. I'm gonna have to get some light on the other side. But just looking at it, this piece is down, this piece is, I don't know if it goes up there. This piece was actually turned way down here hanging. I just stuck it up there. I don't know. This thing, it was sitting like that. So I don't know if it lives there, down here. To me, it goes up here somewhere. And that light goes there maybe. And then this somehow, I don't know. Just real quick, kind of at a glance looking at it. I don't know just yet. I've got to figure out everything. I don't know. But I took the fender off. I got everything's back on except for the brake line. I don't have it yet. So we're wrapped up on that. So overall, I think the IS300 is going to go back together pretty decent. I'm going to, once I get the brake line on, we'll bleed the brakes and we'll get under it and we'll start pulling on everything well, I could do that now, I guess, without the brakes, but get it lifted up in the air, start pulling on everything and make sure we're not missing a bad bushing or control arm or something bent or something. Took a pretty hard lick, so I'm looking at, just everything. The body is bent up and around, all that's caved back in. This actual piece of the body's pushed under a little bit right here. You can tell it took a lick underneath there. But, I think overall, it's gonna be okay. But again, like I said, I'm gonna get under it and push and pull and feel around on some control arms and that kind of thing, and maybe we're okay, I don't know. But the brake line should be here Monday. It's actually probably at AutoZone now, just I ain't been up there to get it yet, so that's the only thing I'm holding on as far as finishing it. And I'll have to have him pump the brakes up to bleed this, and we'll be able to put the wheel on it at that point as far as this piece and figure out the headlight. Even if we got to do a bunch of zip tying, we'll be ready to get back on the track, maybe do a little bit of alignment. And if I get somebody here to help me bleed the brakes, then we should be able to get an alignment knocked out too. Oil change, a couple things like that. And then we'll go from there. I don't know. We'll see how it goes from here. But all right, here we go. All right, so got my new hose figured out. It came in finally. So we got him in there. I've got to get my wrenches or whatever and tighten that up, push it back up in there where it lives, and then hook it on to the brake caliper, and we'll be ready to start bleeding this jewel. So, all right, one last thing we got to fix on this. This will actually be the last major thing to fix to get this ready. Then we have to bleed the brakes. And he's got a new hydro e-brake. He probably wants to put that in, so we may get to that. We are going drifting this weekend. So if you're going to be anywhere in the Nashville area, we're going to the Nashville Super Speedway on the 1st. So we will be up there. Permitted this car goes together, which he's off Friday. So we'll come here Friday. We'll bleed the brakes and everything. Make a day of trying to get this thing done and get us, loaded and tires and all that together. Usually that's what we do on Fridays before drifting. And so I'll go home, sleep a little while that night, and usually drive wherever we got to go. But if it's local, or I think Nashville's only 2 hours from us to that track. So if it's only 2 hours, I won't have to go to bed early like I do when I go to Mid-Pond. That's 4 hours. So what we actually do is I get up a little like early, 2-3 in the morning or something, and we leave out then and stop and eat breakfast or whatever on the way, and make a day that way. We start a little early. But on the Nashville, when it's only 2 hours, they're an hour behind us, so it won't be too bad. I think they start track's hot at like 9:30, 10 o'clock maybe. I think 10, driver's meeting's 9:30, something like that. So we'll probably get up there by, I want to say 8, something like that, because the drivers usually get there early and unload and set up their tents and all that. So we might get up there 8, 9 o'clock, something like that, and get set up first. I would say 8 to have plenty of time to do our thing. So if you're going to be in that area, Nashville, whatever, I'll post this video maybe tonight. So if you catch this before then, that's where we're going to be this weekend, July the 1st. So yeah, all right, we may see you there. Hope to see you there. Come visit, come watch. If you've not done any drifting or seen it, come check it out. So, all right, here we go. All right, so I got the line on. We'll have to get some fluid in it, get my son here to pump up the brakes and bleed them to make sure we don't have any leaks, get some good pressure on this line where it was so janked around. I don't know if we don't have a leak somewhere or another problem, the way it was pulled out. So, but it's in there. I may have to adjust that hose. I'm gonna have him turn the wheel and all that, or I'll do it here in a second and just see where it ends up. But that's the way it's rendered into the brake caliper. So I may have to turn it a little bit or something, I don't know. But that's got a little recess inside there so it fits a certain way. So you can put the clip on. That's a done deal. So we'll be back. Tomorrow I'm going to get it tuned, so we'll find out what happens there, and then after that, once I get that tuned, that'll be Thursday. Then Friday we'll be back here he's off on Fridays, so we'll come and get this thing wrapped up, get it on the ground, get it loaded, get all that stuff squared away, and hopefully, my prediction on the 240 on the dyno, as bad as I hate to say it, it's gonna blow up. I don't want to jinx myself, but that's the way I feel. It's going to blow up. It's stock motor. I already had that one blow up twice, and I see how my luck's going on the VVTi cast rods. I think it's going to blow up. That's just my opinion. Spinner bearing, something. My luck, it's going to do something wrong. Hopefully I'm not wrong, or hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm way off. Hopefully it does well and whatever, but I don't want a ton of power in that thing. I just want enough to drift it and it not blow up. But with everything, the way everything's going, I've accepted that the car is going to blow up tomorrow. It is what it is. Or we'll have a problem and won't be able to tune it or whatever. So that's where my mind's at with it. But we've got this jewel. That's the next one in progress. We're going to stick it in that. And then after that, I feel a lot better about the non-VVTi ones. I feel better once I get that motor in that IS300. I won't feel as bad about, the non-VVTi or the VVTi stuff breaking or blowing up. So hopefully. All right, I don't know. My prediction is it blows up. or horsepower wise, I'd say 340 horse and 260 foot-pound of torque. So that's my prediction, 93 octane. I gotta go put pump gas in it, top it off for tonight. And 340 and let's say, I don't know, maybe 260, 280 torque, somewhere in that range. Yeah, so that's my prediction. If it don't break, but I'm thinking it's gonna break. That's just my opinion. And that's just because the non-VVTI, or the VVTI, I don't even really know the motor. I don't even remember what it came out of at this point, where I've changed so many cars. I don't know how many miles is on that motor. I don't know. I mean, I know zero about that motor now. I do know it's VVTI, and I do know I've had 2 of them blow up by breaking a rod. So that's what I expect. But all right, here we go. All right, then we're back with another day of working on whatever junk we got laying around. And today it's change the plugs in the S14 and get it backed out and loaded up on the rollback to take to the dyno tomorrow. So that's what's happening tomorrow. A little bit of dyno time. So, all right, let's get started. All right, so I got the plugs out, just one of them just to compare. So you can see how fuel soaked that thing is. That probably wouldn't have been happy at the dyno. It might have been okay, but it was running the risk of fouling. So I'm gonna go ahead and change them. That's the reason. And generally you want that gap between there. You want it between, I've seen everywhere from, I would imagine 18 or 32 is what they come. I've seen a lot of people like them at 28. I've seen all the way down to 22. And that's that gap between the tip of it and the actual electrode. So these actually measure about 28 instead of 32. 32 is what they're supposed to come factory, but I tested the one wherever it's at that's in there, and that thing showed more to be a 32 or a 28 rather instead of 32. So I'm going to anti-seize the shank on it, and then I'll put it in, because that one's pretty much, I think I'm just going to go with the 28 and go with it. So let's this cracked screen's still horrible. Let's go ahead and put it in. All right, so I got it knocked out, got the plug wires back on, got all the plugs in, got all that stuff changed. So I'm gonna put it on charge for a little bit and make sure the battery's good for tomorrow. And I think while that's charging, just go over the wiring and looking at everything a little bit, then I'll go from there. So then we'll load her up, get it ready for tomorrow. So all right, here we go.
I'm feeling high.
And it's loaded. So off to the dyno tomorrow. All right, here we go.
I'm feeling